welcome to round one of the 2024 Asian Buggy Championships here in Pukekohe, New Zealand. Blessed with some great weather at the moment, and Zach and I are going to give you a little bit of a track walk, talk to you about what we've experienced so far over the last couple of days. It's been a fun 2 days so far. We've been through practice, through seeding, and now we finished qualifying. So let's go and have a track walk.
Righto, so we're just moving over onto the straight, and you'll probably hear this a fair bit through the track walk. The surface is quite undulating, and the straight is certainly no difference. It's not a very smooth section, but it just keeps you on your toes the whole lap. And something to point out is we've got some rubber matting on the fence here, and you really don't want to be anywhere near that fencing. It sort of goes in and out, and if you do hit that, you're probably going to do a bit of damage to your car. And while Tony's down there, you'll probably see just the amount of sort of ups and downs that you've got there. So really having a good shock package this weekend is important, and something that we've probably been changing frequently after every run to try and find that sweet spot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. The guys at County's track, the committee, and the work that they've done on building this layout, it's something that we probably haven't experienced in the past couple of races that we've been to with Asian Buggy Championships. As Tony showed with the track there, and we've got a little bit of background music. Zach and I might give a bit of a dance, right? Bit of country music there. What you see with the straight is it's a little bit like a wave pool. There is not a part of it that's dead flat, and you can see that with the discoloration in the straight. So
yeah, all those little dark and light patches.
It's like a wave, right?
Yeah.
So you go through there, your shocks are working. You really don't even get a chance to take a breather going down the straight. We saw an amazing pass in the e-Buggy A2. Caleb Noble put a move on Ryan Lutz probably 2 laps from the end and made it stick through here, and it was a great move. Overpowered him and kept it for the last couple of laps. What Shane's done is build a track that's got, plenty of character, and I think that's what they were looking for. They didn't want a smooth layout. They wanted something that was a little bit different, and they've certainly been able to deliver. It's been lots of fun and had us all scratching our heads in terms of coming up with a setup that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 4 rounds in the series this year, and we're going to probably have quite unique surfaces at each of the tracks, so it's good to see something different. Some people are calling this sort of like a mini DNC. The surface has got a fair bit of character, as the Yanks would say, and it makes for a really fun, different style of racing. Just probably one point to note on the straight here. This is the braking point where I am, and if you brake into this, I've seen a few people traction roll into the corner. So keeping out a little bit wider and then sweeping through this sort of turn 1, as you'd call it, is pretty important.
You'll see this as we do the track walk. The surface has got lots of different clay in it, lots of different soil, different rocks, and that presents a different challenge for the drivers and the setup as we go through the lap. So into turn 1 here, nice flowing tabletop into a really big off-camber corner. Already you can see the discoloration, right? The dirt's changed, a little bit slippery, a little bit more dusty here.
But we are starting to see a pretty good line come down. Slightly cooler day today, and forecast for it to be a cooler day on the finals day. So that keeps the moisture in the dirt. The guys and the crew are doing a really good job, doing lots of watering, and we're starting to see the surface really pack in, and we get some a lot more consistent grip than we had on sort of the day 1. So we're leading up into a big sort of off-camber section here. So we're jumping this tabletop, landing in here, and I'm sort of braking as I land into the ground on the down ramp there, and then just pretty much using the car speed and rolling through this apex. It's so easy if you carry too much speed to move a metre off the apex, and then you lose so much time.
And there's probably a height difference of 4 feet from apex down to where I am now, and as soon as you're off that apex, you just drift away. Lutz has been really fast through here. I've been marshalling here a couple of times for his runs. He excels through here. Probably the only thing to watch is don't go wide there or you end up in the street. I've seen the police there. They've got speed cameras out, so you've got a chance of getting a ticket. So we stay inside the track there. But then down through here, down the roller, over a single, into the step up. Relatively straightforward section. Not too much to worry about here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few different lines through here. Some people jumping and all the way landing and hitting the up ramp, and some landing just before it and sort of jumping out of it. There's probably not a distinct method that's quicker at this point in time, but there is a little bit of difference in the jump face. The inside's obviously a fair bit smoother, while the middle to outside has got like a sort of a jump in the middle there, and that can kick your car a little bit. So you're probably wanting to be a little bit on the inside, but there's also a kicker down the bottom. So it's pretty much in the middle. Is probably the safest. Stay off the pipe.
Yeah, none of it's smooth. I've been coming inside, jumping up. Look, really just trying to keep wheels in contact with the dirt here. You know, it undulates everywhere.
Yeah.
I found that if I can be nice and tight inside on the left here, there's a good line rather than being out in the craters and the moon craters here. Just hooking this pipe and not touching, because it does suck you in really quickly.
Yeah.
But just coming through here.
There's a really tight line there. If you can be inside, break down the hill, you get so much time, and it leads you up for this short shoot.
And the short shoot, it's it's bumpy again, which is really interesting to drive on. You know, you come through here and you don't know what's going to catch you out, and Tony will get it on the cameras. There's little holes, there's different rocks. Zach's standing on a mound there.
Yeah.
All of this stuff kicks the car. You probably see it on the video that you've been watching. You know, even Ryan and Caleb and Kyle, you know, even over a 5-minute run in their qualifying, they're making mistakes, right? The track at the moment is the one that's winning, which is great.
And this is the interesting part about the track. You've got to sort of change your line up a little bit. Obviously, where that bump is right where your normal line would be to set yourself up for the next section, but you've got to stay a little bit on the inside. And then that being on the inside makes this next corner a little bit trickier. Because if you're on the outside, it's a straight line, but if you're on the inside, you've got to really scrub off your speed and then carry that jump into a tight apex. So interesting line choices makes each section a little bit difficult, I think.
And it's a cool little left-hander. I like coming in here, carry just the right amount of speed, little whip over this jump, and then into a hairpin right-hander. Probably one of the smoother parts of the track. Place it in the right sort of spot, probably where Zach's feet are is where you really want to try and land. And then just accelerating out of here. Down the roller, little mini front straight into the biggest double that we have.
And like you said, this is probably the smoothest section of the track. Pretty much just power down the hill. As you can see, nearly everyone is hitting the left-hand side of this jump. And it is quite a steep drop-off, and you've really got to land on the apex. So it's power all the way up, and then just give it a nice little squirt up the face, and then let off the gas. And then it's really nice jump, this one. Everyone can sort of land into the apex, turning, and carry that corner speed, landing on the down ramp. Probably my favourite section of the track, I think.
Yeah, and it's a critical little one, right? You know, it looks easy being just a nice big double, but if you carry too much speed, you know, you land too long. If you don't carry enough speed, you end up casing the top of it. So you just got to have the timing perfect. And then just down into the right-hander.
Yeah.
And again, you know, you'd think you'd want to be hard on the gas just up this little short shoot straight, but it is as bumpy as all get out. And, you know, again, track wins versus car here. Shocks and the shock setup that you've got makes a big difference. Even if you take a look at the straight line through there, you know, there's up, down, all the way through into the next left-hander. But a good little section, good opportunity to pass. You know, if someone gets bucked in front of you,
oh, absolutely,
you can easily just nip up the inside of them.
Yeah, so like inside, there's a little bump there. And then if you're on the outside, there's some really good whoops here before this section. So you're sort of on the inside and then crossing lanes and then coming onto the inside here. And then you can't really be right on the apex because the jump has got a bit of a divot there. So we're sort of sweeping across into the middle of the jump. And then quite a lot of the cars, you sort of give them a bit of a whip. Caleb's probably the best whipper I've seen, but he certainly gives the car a nice little whip and then sets himself up for the next jump section.
And I think one of the good things that we've seen out of the surface as we go over the double here is it's really hard packed now. So whilst the first 2 days we were breaking through those first couple of layers, we're not really seeing the holes break apart or develop. It's almost like now the track is broken in, it's bedded in, the holes are there, and everything's as hard as rock, right? You can see here pieces of rock are being, you know, pulled out of the ground, right? That was in there at some point.
Yeah.
But everything's hard, you know, there's not soft at all. You can't kick it out.
Yeah,
so
you're on the power hard through these rough sections. So when your car hits these bumps, you know, you're bottoming out, the chassis hitting them, and then you've got to correct it into the next section. This is probably the biggest hole that we've got. And most of the drivers are coming out wider and just sort of driving on the edge of this. They're not driving through it, obviously. A quick line is on the outside.
And it's pretty cool. When they built this, Shane was telling me this is one of the sections of the track that they really didn't roll. They wanted this to develop as much character
That's
as
right.
possible. And I think that's been really fun because it creates a little bit of chaos when cars are going through here. Another opportunity to pass. You know, the track, if you watched A2, you will see doesn't have a lot of natural passing positions because we all know where the bumps are, where the holes are. If you stay on line, it is difficult to pass. So you're really hoping that someone gets bucked. It's a little bit riding a bull, right? So you get bucked when you're going through there, or as you come into this braking zone, you know, you hit this and the rear of the car really comes up.
You see a lot of cars sort of doing the endo and then catching it before the apex, and it's because they've braked right in that hole there. And it's just learning those little spots where the holes, at least the holes, I guess, are consistent now because the track doesn't seem to be breaking up anymore. The holes are staying in there and getting a groove in them.
They are.
So I think what we'll see now is everyone starts to get used to their lines and they'll pick up those lines a lot quicker now. Rather than lines changing and developing, they'll be a lot more consistent through tomorrow.
That's it. And then we come into, you know, I don't know, at initial view was something like an off camber. It's actually more like a pitcher's mound, right? Just a big sort of round pitcher's mound. Coming through this section as fast as you can onto the brakes, and then if you get it right, you're carrying just the right amount of speed to come through here, stay nice and high, and then accelerating out. There is a wide line that I've seen people take, trying to hold the gas and get pinned through there. I don't know. It's difficult to be consistent when you're on the throttle. Certainly on some of those wide lines, I've been favouring being up there and tight.
There's pretty much just a car
it's
width.
A car length.
Like you really need to be right on the pipe, otherwise your car will fall off the edge. So, you know, it's very strategically designed, I think, but. If you can be right on the apex and not hit the pipe, then it's obviously quicker.
Straight through this short chute, and then we get into a couple of hairpins back to the beginning of the lap. So again, like you'll see, you know, the track is really undulating. Lots of stuff going on with the surface. Grip's interesting. So I would say low to medium grip and almost zero tyre wear. I think, you know, I've run the same set of tyres through half an hour, 45 minutes so far, and almost no tyre wear on a new set of super soft tyres. So it's an interesting surface. You would think it would have a lot more tyre abrasion and tyre wear, just given how many rocks that we can all see and, you know, the lack of smoothness in the surface. But funnily enough, it's a super cost-effective track on tyres, and you don't wear them out.
Yeah, man, I'm having a great time. You know, such a different style of track. I haven't driven on this for so long, and it's just been so good to get into a bit of an old school track again. Everyone I speak to is really enjoying the weekend. The coverage has been awesome as usual. What a start to the series. It's great to have someone from America like Ryan Lutz come out and bring a little bit more exposure to the series. We had such a good year in 2023. Obviously only 2 races, but we're going bigger and better this year with 4 races, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing all the different tracks throughout Asia.
Yeah, great to see Scotty put this on with the RC Race Media team, and the fact that we got Ryan out here. You know, he had a pretty dominant qualifying, and then I think the Aussies have really turned it up in the finals so far. Looking forward to seeing that continue tomorrow. You know, we had Ryan take A1, Caleb took A2, so the e-buggy finals will go down to the 3rd one, and then the nitro mains are going to be amazing. 45 minutes for the A main on this track that the counties team have built. It's going to be epic. I'm looking forward not only to tomorrow, but I'm looking forward really to then moving to race 2, which will be in Manila, race 3 in Brisbane, and then wrapping out the series with race 4 in Indonesia. So awesome that Scotty and the team have been able to put this on. It's going to be a really, really good year in 2024 for racing in Asia.